So this was pretty big news amidst everything else that's going on in the world right now. The Pentagon has admitted that they have found UFOs, which they classify as vehicles not made on this earth, which I don't really think surprises anybody at this point. I know it doesn't surprise me after seeing all these Netflix documentaries. I know that there's an unsolved mystery wherein someplace in Western Mass, I think the Berkshires, there are all these people talking about this sighting that they made. And I think it's good that they're getting this out in the open, but I also kind of have to question why they're doing it at this certain point when people have been questioning this stuff for the last 50 or so years, all of the quote unquote sketchy stuff that's going on in Area 51. I honestly didn't know much about Area 51. I had heard a lot of people talk about it. I watched a Netflix, it's one of those America's Book of Secrets episodes on Area 51 on Netflix, and I was honestly rattled at all of the information they provided. Even though it's one of the most secretive military bases in the world, there are so many people that have these crazy conspiracy theories or stories about all the crazy stuff that's going on down there. And if you've ever heard of Bob Lazar, that's another person who claims to have worked at Area 51, who claims to have worked on these UFOs, basically reverse engineering them. And he was on Joe Rogan once. I think he has a documentary on Netflix also. But I don't even say that I necessarily believe his story. I understand that there's a lot of people that are very skeptical of that stuff, that maybe think he's a paid actor. But then that also goes into the fact of what could he be hiding by saying that UFOs are real? That's a completely different rant. But the fact that they're really releasing that UFOs are real now, even though a lot of people have known this, I mean, there are paintings that go back thousands of years of, I think in the Mona Lisa painting, there's literally, maybe not, a different painting. Paintings, scratch that. There have been paintings for thousands of years where there have been people pointing to that's a potential UFO, and whether that's true or not, I would have to make the assumption, and this is based off of nothing other than my gut, my intuition. You could have a completely different opinion, but I would be under the assumption that there have been several, if not hundreds, of interdimensional, or whatever you want to call them, alien visits to Earth in the past 10,000 or so years. And say aliens, or whatever you want to call them, interdimensional beings, say that they came to Earth around 11,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, when, we had the Sumerians, the ancient Egyptians, and they've also like said this stuff in their tablets and stuff, that there were aliens. But then again, all of information is just a big game of telephone. So a lot of people, we don't really believe anything that they tell us, which is also comes from interpretations. So I would like to see, I would like to hear from other people's perspectives from other cultures around the world, not in America, because in America we think that we know everything. We're very arrogant and ignorant about everything that's going on, and we're basically the last of these cultures to develop in the world. So our culture is really just in its baby forms, and through all the scientific innovation, evolution is definitely great, but it's definitely brought us away from kind of our intuitive nature and kind of our loving nature, and we've basically been destroying the earth for profits. Again, that's another rant, but I'd like to be hear other people's opinions, people from the Middle East, people from India, Asia, Africa, and hear their opinions about UFOs and whether aliens are real, because that's not really the opinion that we always hear about. We always hear about, oh, maybe there was a UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico in 1950s and they brought it to Area 51, when that could just be one of them. There could be thousands of UFOs that are just monitoring the earth at this moment, and it would kind of just be like a TV show to them. Like, we watch animals in the zoo because we find that entertaining, or we learn from it, or we go to the aquarium because we like to see these fish and underwater animals. I don't even know what they're called. Reptile? Nah. We like to see them just in their natural habitat doing their thing. And if I was an alien, if I was an interdimensional being that was more complex, more intelligent than us, I would think that it's funny seeing all the stuff we got going on now. And they probably have some like space rule against helping other civilizations. They need to basically help themselves, save themselves, and not kill each other before you go and assist them and make yourselves kind of available to them. But there are also people who have stories of UFO encounters and of being abducted by aliens. And do you really believe those people? I would say probably 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 1,000,000 people actually believe these people. Not to say that they didn't actually experience that. It's also the fact that there's really a burden of proof for you to actually believe in something like that. And if you experience that yourself, you will know deep down whether that actually happened or not. But maybe you don't, because it could have just been a dream. How can you really differentiate from something that was a dream and something that was reality? That's, again, a completely different tangent, completely different rant, but it begs the question of how good actually is your memory if you claim to have been abducted by aliens. That's a crazy concept. But then again, why would they even want to abduct you? To conduct experiments? If they were technologically advanced enough to somehow come here from a very far away planet, very far away star, their technology must be light years, pun not intended, light years ahead of ours, to the point where I think they pretty much know everything they'd want to know about us. Maybe they just do it to mess with us. I don't think that's what I would do if I was that intelligent. Maybe they just do it for fun. Maybe it's just a game. But at this point, I would say that at least this is my belief, that UFOs are 100% real, that aliens, or whatever you want to call them, interdimensional beings, intelligent beings from other planets are 100% real, and I don't have any proof of the alien thing. There is now proof that the Pentagon admits that UFOs are real, which is still kind of mind-boggling to me. How I don't really feel like many people are talking about it, obviously because we're in the midst of a global pandemic. There's so much crazy stuff going on in the world that doesn't really seem to be of that much importance. But I would make the strong prediction that we're going to be coming into contact with a lot more of these UFOs in the very near future. I mean, they can kind of, I think what's happening is they can kind of sense that we're at like a very weird point in our evolution, in our society's evolution, where we're basically at a turning point of whether we want to help people or just only help ourselves. And our society has basically been built on destroying the earth, destroying the planet, and I kind of see this virus as a way of the planet trying to destroy us. You might have a different view of that. Again, that is a completely different rant. I'm getting off tangent here, but back to UFOs. UFOs are absolutely ridiculous. They have technology, at least according to Bob Lazar, that nobody could even figure out. They literally had new elements that we hadn't even discovered for 20 or 30 years. And this also makes you question whether, like, the advancement of the United States technology, whether we're able to build this stuff now, because they've clearly been working on this stuff for the past 60 or so years. So again, I ask the question, why are they just releasing this right now? Because they're not just doing this like by accident. It's not like something got leaked. They're clearly doing this for a strategic way. Is it to open people up to the idea now that, oh, maybe UFOs actually are real, maybe aliens are real? And you might think that, well, if they knew this the whole time, why did they never say anything? So maybe you're fearful that Russia or China could have gotten into this secret. Well, if there really are UFOs that exist, I would be very sure that the United States isn't the only country that has figured this out. If there really are UFOs that have existed, there's probably thousands that come, maybe even every day. That's a large number, but Canada probably knows, Russia probably knows, China probably knows, probably everybody knows but us, but now we do know, or so we think we know. But it really opens the question to me of why are they just saying this now? Because they have vehemently denied this for many years, that UFOs have ever existed, when clearly they've been keeping some type of secret. I don't know, I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind, maybe make another video about that in the future. Definitely going to make a future video on aliens. Aliens is a cool topic that we'll probably never know about. I mean, some people claim that they can contact aliens through astral projection, if you've ever heard about what that means. And I'm really just of the belief that the universe is infinite. There are infinite life forms, that we're all the same one being, that's the same one love that's basically split itself into billions and trillions and so much diverse life forms, so unity in diversity, and that they're really all just a reflection of us. We are them, they are us. It's nothing to fear. It's not that aliens are going to come here and attack us. If anything, if any aliens are permitted to come to this earth, because there's probably some type of like bubble that they have to come through where they have to say their purpose. They're not just allowed to come here. I wouldn't worry too much about that. But then again, how do UFOs get here in the first place? That's another. Are they traveling at the speed of light? Are they even real? Are they all in our imagination? A lot of great questions. I think I'm going to end the video there. That was pretty absurd. Have a great day. Peace.